Hey folks, welcome to the Let's Move series presented by the Phoenix Guild and the Gari Developer DAO by Chingari. In this video, we are going to look at the structure of a move program. Remember that move was created keeping in mind that digital assets need to be controlled in a certain way. They need to be accessed in a certain way when they are apart or when they are being moved in a blockchain, right? Now, in that context, there are certain features that are specifically enhancing the behavior of digital assets. But in this video, we are going to look at some common features that you see across programming languages. The first one is modules and scripts, right? So modules and scripts are two things that you will come across which form the body of a move contract, right? Which you can deploy on the blockchain eventually. Now, modules, they define structures and functions, right? So you have structs that describe the storage and the resources that are part of your program. And functions are the ones that act on top of this storage resources and make change, if eventually affect some state changes, right? Whereas scripts are basically, think of scripts at another upper level, like the main function that is there in most of your programs, and they are used to call the functions of a publish module. So you will largely see modules and scripts being used as the body in a move program. The second thing that we want to talk about is address or accounts, right? Where do you store the modules and the resources, right? The modules contain your structs and your functions, and your resources are basically the variables that are going to be undergoing state change and all of that. So these are being stored at a given address. Let's take a quick look at the address data type, right? I'm just going to go through this chapter in the Move language book and quickly talk about addresses. So the addresses or accounts can be declared using the address built-in type, which is present in Move, and this is used to represent locations, as we mentioned, right? An address value is a 128 bit, that is a 16 byte identifier. And at a given address, you can store either modules or resources, right? Now, this is the one thing that I want to highlight, that is, you can use runtime address values to access resources at that address, but you cannot access modules at runtime via address values. Now, there are two ways that you can use this address, and you will see this syntax varying from program to program. Like in the beginner programs, you will see them as, numerical values, and later you will see them as, the out of the expression context, you will see them as being without the at character. Now, the named addresses, or the ones that are being used as an expression, right? On that, when an address is used as an expression, it must be prefixed by the at character. For example, in this expression, you're using the let keyword, right? And you're saying that A1, the variable, is of type address, and this has the value 0x1, right? Which is the shorthand for this. Now, because this is an expression, you are using the at identifier here. Whereas here, in this context, you are actually defining a module, and you are saying that this particular address is where this module and the associated resources will be located in the global storage. So this is not an expression. So you don't need the at identifier here. Now, the primary purpose of address values are to interact with the global storage operations. For example, you can check if something exists, you can borrow something from the global storage, you can borrow something mutable from the global storage, and you can move from one global storage to another if that operation is permitted, right? On the address data type. Let's call it data type, right? Built-in type. Now, the third thing that you will come across often to understand the body of a move program are structures, right? So, a structure, just like in any other language, is a user defined data type which contains typed fields. So, you have to understand that move is an interpreted language, so it is important for you to assign the type to the fields, right? So, just now we saw an example that let A1 had a type address associated with it. Now, the last but not the least, and a very fun thing that you can do in Move is actually write unit tests in a Move program itself. There are several different types of annotations that come along with tests. So you can just have hashtag test, which is a simple annotation, and then you can have more complex variation that gives an instruction as to how these tests should be used, right? I know that we have seen now a bunch of things about move. So let's actually move and get started with our practicals, right? So I have a folder where I'm going to minimize this. So this is where I've created a move programming folder and I've cloned the move repository. So I'm going to create a new move project, say move new, and then I'm going to call it move program structure. Okay. Alright, so this has created for me this new repository. I'm going to cd inside this, and you can see that it has a move.toml and sources folder. Now is a good time to open this up in VS Code. So you can see that the sources right now is empty, right? So we can create something like a simple dot move. Okay, and start writing your code over here, right? So the first thing you would do is you can declare a module. You can say at which address will this module be published. You can give it a name, simple module, and then just open it up. Now here you can define your structures, your functions, etc. I already have a contract, so I'm just going to walk you through this. So I have the address that I've chosen, which is 0x42, and then I'm calling my module as social network, right? Let's ignore this for now. Now here I have a structure named person, and this has a feature called has drop. That means you can delete this particular structure, you can drop it. Otherwise, if you don't have this feature, then you can only move the structure from one storage to another, right? Now, as mentioned, within the structure, it will have fields that are typed. So we have a field called age and its type is U8, right? A U8 integer. Now, again, within this module, you will have functions that can actually modify the state of this particular struct, right? So we are going to define this function as a public function. So we have that visibility identifier here. The keyword for function is fun, and the name of the function is set underscore age. The way you take parameters in this arguments is very similar to Rust. So you take an argument new underscore age, which is of U8 type, and then you're going to return a type of U8. So open close braces. You're going to define a variable let person is equal to, we are going to say it's a type struct, an instance of this struct, and you're going to assign new age to this particular age variable. Let's ignore the debug as of now, and you're going to return person.age, right, which is what you're going to return, that is U8. You can see here now within this program itself, we can have a unit test using the hashtag test, wherein you're going to write a function called test. Ignore the spelling mistake, please. test the set age function, and you're going to just call that function by giving it some value. These debugs are actually used for printing, and using standard debug, I've actually imported this into this particular program, and I'm going to print the values at various pointed time, right? So let's go back to this particular folder and then say move build. Sorry. So after I've given the command move build, it is taking in the it is actually taking in the dependencies. It is including all the dependencies that exist, and it is showing us as to what and all is being included in this package. Okay, now we can run the tests as well. Okay, now we can see that both of the debugs have been printed and the test has passed, right? So this is a simple move program that we have built and tested as of now. And in the next set of videos, we will see how to work with different concepts in move. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next session.